Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the SPL. It's week 6. We're coming back off of the off week, and Kevin's still playing with the toys that Hinduman left. Please leave that alone.
I'm trying to trade you out for Hinduman. I like the European
You're
accent.
the face that shows up. So
yeah,
you'd
whatever.
be trading yourself out for Hinduman.
I want to knock myself out of the competition. Oh, man. Uh-oh.
Anyway.
I hope I didn't break the button.
That, of course, is from our hit show, So You Think You Can Cast. Airs every Wednesday at 5 p.m., immediately following one of the best shows on Twitch.
Clearly the best show.
Weekly.
I mean, clearly the best show. I mean, I'm on it, you're on it, Hinduman's on it.
That's why it follows us, right? I mean, we've got the best show on Twitch. In any event, we're back in the SPL, as I said. We took a week off to go hang out in San Jose, California. Some Spiders played there. But since we're back into the SPL, let's give you guys a reminder as how everybody is standing off. Europe is going to start the match today with Myrmidons versus London Conspiracy, and both of these teams in sort of the middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack is the best way to describe them. You know, they're trying to catch up right now. Epsilon's way out of their league right now. They are way too far to catch. But London Conspiracy in this matchup, sitting at 6 and 8, you can see how close they are to Myrmidons, Dig, and Justice. I mean, this is going to be important for them to try and find some wins and put some space in between them and maybe even catch Titan. And for Myrmidons, it's about staying 6th because 6 teams are going to Super Regionals. Only 6, so every single one of these games is going to matter.
Right. Myrmidons want to separate themselves from the bottom pretty much. The best possible scenario for Myrmidons to really get out of here is to tie. If Myrmidons goes ahead and gets 2 wins, then they'll just be tied with London Conspiracy. They can't really do more than that. So here, that's pretty much what they're hoping to tread water. They don't want to fall too bad. Over in North America, we're going to have Cognitive Gaming versus Eager for You after our current matchup. So let's take a look at Europe, which is what we're going to do first. Myrmidons, right on your screen. Now, interesting side note for this team, they have Tynz, back in the mid lane.
He's back in mid, as well as LeFaeles is now going to be joining them in the jungle. That was kind of Sayo's last shebang with the team as they were trying to sort out their jungler he had left. They brought in Tynz for mid, but because they couldn't find a replacement in time for jungle, they stuck with Sayo. And he actually had like a phenomenal performance on the Thor, but they
didn't even lose.
They won. They beat Justice 2-0, but it is going to be LeFaeles, former upcoming stars. Now Justice, team member back in the summer and spring split, or maybe it was just the summer split, but he's going to be jungling for them.
And I mean, I don't mean to downplay LeFaeles. LeFaeles actually has a tremendous, he did a tremendous job on upcoming stars when he sort of came into the league, and he's done good work. I just get very upset when I think about Sayo once again.
For like that 800th, he'll be back. Sayo will be back. I mean, it's not the SPL without him. It's not Smite.
So Sayo's no longer on the team. LeFaeles is a talented player, and also, don't forget, he's French. So Les Myrmidons are now 4 out of 5 French one more time.
Is that what restored the faith in the French for you? Is that they added another Frenchman? Just only 3 wasn't enough for them to win, but with 4... They're bound to make it.
Now from the middle of Europe to the west coast of Europe, London Conspiracy is going to be their opponent today, and they will be Aero in the mid lane. And more importantly, again, we're talking about, well, not more importantly than Aero. Aero's an important guy, but we were talking about the dual lane when it comes to Myrmidons. We're going to talk about the dual lane again.
Yeah,
EmilZy and Shaggy.
EmilZy and Shaggy are big names for these guys. EmilZy, team captain, shot caller. He's actually released videos of himself shot calling occasionally. Very prominent when he starts. When he gets rolling, you can really see London Conspiracy get rolling. Another important note, though, is that Soggy Sanday will be subbing out, and this is just a substitution, and it will be Cherryo, another former upcoming Stars player, going to be subbing into the jungle.
Upcoming subs.
Yeah, upcoming subs. It's a new team. Oh, man.
I'm actually really excited because upcoming Stars now, Justice, when they changed, so at first they weren't a strong team by any stretch of the imagination, and they started to get a little stronger piece by piece. And one of the bigger moments for that team was when the support player Cherryo moved into the jungle. We got to see a lot of glimmers of hope, a lot of interesting moves. Support players that move into the jungle generally have an idea of how to control the situation a little bit more. Plus, the picks like Ymir and Athena, I just happen to like them personally. But Cherryo was a big part of that jungle, a big part of that upcoming Stars team. So here, Soggy Sandal, who, well, we've seen a lot of his Fenrir and has been very, very strong. Cherryo subbing in, I don't think is going to be a problem.
It's a different play style, though. So for me, it's really how is London Conspiracy going to adapt?
Right. It'll it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I mean, Ymir, Athena, these are the characters that we've seen Cherryo really play in the past. Of course, don't forget he's coming from a support role. So this is a player that is used to sort of controlling the situation. Don't expect too many straight Najas or Lokis or Serkets in the jungle in this guy's hands, although we have seen Serket come out just once or twice for him back in the day. It really was all about those control-oriented junglers. So I'm thinking, besides what I just said, the Thor and some of those characters.
Yeah, I mean, Ymir was his most played god in the jungle during the summer split, Kabrakan following that up as well as Thor, but he also brought in Athena and Bellona.
Right.
Really AoE team fight-oriented gods that you typically see in other roles more than anything. So I do want to actually go back with your upcoming subs joke. When you actually look at it, a lot of that team, the former upcoming stars team, now Justice, actually ended up breaking up. Like, they slowly removed piece by piece from them, and then they kind of brought in a Challenger Cup team Arcadia, and then they kind of formed it and basically took the spot. It's 4 of those members. But then each of those players has now gone on to, like, really look at other teams. Irons going to Dignitas. Cherryo now playing for Bloody Conspiracy. Even if it's a sub spot, FaeLes over in the jungle for Myrmidons. And that is their actual roster too. FaeLes is their starting roster. So all these members kind of got removed slowly, but then found their way back into the SPL.
Which is exciting because a lot of times you look at these bottom of the pack teams. Upcoming Stars wasn't going to win many games. I think they only had 1 win. But what was interesting about that is that these players did earn an SPL spot. Right?
Yes.
They are strong enough to get here, and maybe as a unit, they're not strong enough. But you see them different places, and Dignitas has had their troubles, but not a lot of them really originate from Renz's performance. And so we get to see these players that were maybe not performing on a team level on Upcoming Stars go throughout the league and really get to show their stuff surrounded by teams that make it work.
And that's really important because it's very easy to be a player that's good individually and join a top team, right? I take a look at North America, right? Sure. Baskin has joined Cloud9, and individually, that kid was a ranked all-star, very good in ranked, but on a team, it wasn't always the strongest. He was on, it was like Denial, and it's not that he played bad, but I mean, we weren't seeing the basketball we're seeing now. When you join those teams who have been together for a while, like London Conspiracy, like Myrmidons, you get a little bit more right?
It just doesn't always mesh together.
Exactly. They teach you how to play like a teammate.
You need the right situation. You need the right setting. And we're going to go move our setting to the picks and bans.
P's and B's
versus a London Conspiracy. LCs for the P's and B's.
Come on, man. I actually did the P's and B's for once.
I don't know what that
is. I hated it back in the summers, but I was like, no. And now everyone stopped, and I'm like, let's do it. And you're like, no.
So you're a hipster.
London Conspiracy. No, hipsters I would have done in the spring. London Conspiracy, they're going to be first pick in the order side. Myrmidons, they're going to be second pick. Chaos side. Sun Wukong, no surprise. Bluestone and Sun Wukong very strong right now, is going to be first ban.
I am Tom's lack of surprise here. Sun Wukong and Khepri both banned out. These two characters, two opposite sides of the coin, but very strong at what they do. Sun Wukong being very aggressive with that Bluestone buff, or not buff, but the inclusion of Bluestone really helping him out to just be aggressive as hell. And then Khepri, on the other side of things, very defensive, almost too much, and London Conspiracy brings out the Hades ban against LeMoGoW.
You know, I'm a little bit surprised about this because
me too.
Early on in the split, I was like, yes, ban Hades LeMoGoW, right? Or LeMoGoW's Hades, excuse me.
Same thing.
And like the first game, it wasn't banned, and he went off on it. I don't remember who they were facing, but it was like, okay, now this has to be perma-banned. Since then, some of the top teams at least have let it through, and they've really controlled him. And now that more European teams are familiar with playing against Hades, Hades isn't as powerful as a pick.
Exactly.
And for me, this might be a wasted ban if London Conspiracy just hasn't devised a plan to deal with it.
Well, we'll take a look at it. Myrmidons, LeMoGoW has sort of shown his hand.
Yes.
He has a limited god pool from what we've seen. Maybe he's got some stuff in the lab, but everybody sort of really understands that it's about 3 or 4 gods, and with Hades off of it, that's just another one gone. Janus picked up for London Conspiracy's Aero. This is basically one of the only gods he plays, and for good reason. He's very strong on it. Freya and Thor picked up for Myrmidons on the other side.
I'm a big fan of this Freya. I really want to see what Jermain can do with it. If it's going to Jermain, you never know. Europe has run it in solo. We haven't seen it.
has run it in solo.
Yeah, Zalia has run it in solo. We haven't seen it in jungle too often, but Jermain, for me, like, he is like a MoX, where individually he is such a phenomenal player. You could see him make big plays. He is MoX.
Is Jermain your new MoX?
Maybe. Jermain might be bait now.
Watch out for
Jermain. And Thor also, you pick up a Freya who, even Denial, Shadow Q, or it was Mace to the Face, stated that he thinks Freya is actually one of the strongest, if not the strongest hyper carry in the game, when you can protect her. And they drafted a very defensive jungler, right? Early on, Thor's aggressive. Late game, he's very defensive, controlling, and can protect that Freya. Xbalanque, Athena locked in for London Conspiracy. And then Dardez, the Bruise Brothers, they've got an Ares.
Ares combined with the Freya, that's going to be a lot of damage, especially in the mid game. But early game, Ares can really lay it down. You couple that with a banish and some pulse slows from Freya. This is a very dangerous lane. Hunbats, the party monkey, banned out by Myrmidons. So London Conspiracy, who is playing with Cherryo, they don't want, Myrmidons does not want to give Hunbats to Cherryo. Odin, banned out by London Conspiracy. Now
this is another shot actually at LeMoGoW. They've now taken 3 gods from his god pool. We haven't seen him play too much Wukong. But the question for me is London Conspiracy banning away the Odin because they want to run a healer, or are they just taking away one of LeMoGoW's primary options outside of Hades? Myrmidons coming in with their pick. It's going to be Nuwa in the mid lane, so they're allowing LeMoGoW to have the counter pick in that solo lane matchup, which means if London Conspiracy is planning on running a Hell or a Chang'e or an Afro, a healer in the solo lane, he will have his choice
Bellona
of gods against it.
Actually,
but probably a Bellona.
Might be a jungle.
Nah, it's probably going to be a solo.
Anything's possible. Well, so London Conspiracy does have one more pick. As we said,
well, it is Cherryo, actually. Now
exactly.
That I think about
if you're just joining us, Soggy Sandal not playing for London Conspiracy, just a sub. Cherryo,
just us a sub.
Cherryo will be.
I was stretching. I was stretching for that one.
Cherryo is going to be joining London Conspiracy in the jungle this time around. And we talked a little bit during the early game about how he does prefer these tanky junglers. Now, Bellona in the jungle and solo lane. Guan, similar to how Freya was played by Xayah in the solo lane, Guan Yu's played in the jungle by DJ Predicus and almost him exclusively.
I'm assuming this Guan Yu solo simply because they banned away the Odin because they didn't want Guan, because if Guan Yu gets ganked, he's trapped in the cage. Banning out that Odin allows him, he just runs in a circle. He's like at an arena. And basically it just gives him a less gankable lane.
Exactly.
Hercules is going to be the last pick. That's going to LeMoGoW. That's also one god that he plays a little bit often, more notably in ranked. We've only seen it a couple times in the Pro League, but it's going to be interesting to see that into the Guan Yu matchup.
As we get into our game right here, ladies and gentlemen, it's game 1 of week 6, day 1, London Conspiracy versus Les Myrmidons. London Conspiracy, of course, having their substitute, Cherryo, step into the jungle, and he will be playing on that Bellona. Zashu makes the solo lane up with Guan Yu. Mid laner, aero, Janus. No surprise there, where EmilZy and Shaggyshenk make the dual lane on Athena and Xbalanque, respectively. Red side, Les Myrmidons. Solo lane, LeMoGoW will be on that Hercules. Jungle is LeFaeles. New member, not a sub. New member, LeFaeles, will be on Thor. Dual lane is the Bruise Brothers, Dardez and Jermain on Ares and Freya. Look for a lot of damage there. And Tynz, Nuwa, fire shards.
Yeah, I'm looking at this dual lane. You said it yourself. Dardez and Jermain matching up against EmilZy and Shaggyshenk. And one of the reasons I picked Myrmidons to at the very least split against London Conspiracy is the fact that with EmilZy being the leader, if you could shut him down in the dual lane, which is what Dardez and Jermain do, they literally shut down the opponent's dual lane in almost every single matchup, even against top-end teams. I know they had a very good matchup against Trix and Funballer on Paradigm. If they could find an early kill, I think London Conspiracy will start to crumble. If EmilZy can't be free roaming the map and being able to make active calls, it becomes very difficult for LC.
And that's really what you're talking about, the early kills. And let's dive a little bit deeper. Ares, of course, everybody that's watching that has played a game of Smite against Ares understands what the chains can do. But Freya largely thought of a sort of a wet noodle early on and then a hyper carry later. But what can she bring? She's got a slow and a banish. How does that help Ares?
It's going to be a rough laning phase typically. I mean, you look at it.
Not a lot of wave clear.
It's going to be rough, but for now, I mean, they're controlling the lane. That's one thing, too, is that this Ares Freya, they don't have a lot of push. They have a bad landing phase, although Xbalanque and Athena don't have the strongest either. But I think, and you look at it, right, EmilZy and Shaggy are giving Dardez and Jermain a lot of respect here.
Which is fun, because EmilZy and Shaggyshenk, not only are they, have they played individually, but this lane has played together for quite a long time. And Myrmidons, on the other hand, Dardez and Jermain, sort of the new kids on the block.
Zashu going to be taking some poke from LeMoGoW for now. Taking a look, a lot of potions on both ends of this. That's kind of what you expect with two warriors. They just tank up, buy a lot of potions. Who can get Mystical Mail online first? Because that's when the lane really starts to, when you really start to get an advantage in solo lane.
Mystical Mail, the latest god from hi-rez Studios.
This
is the problem. Zashu flipped
blood.
underneath the tower. 2 tower shots and some minions. But a good thing that heal comes out. Zashu heals himself, not up, but just barely above dead.
Yeah, I mean, if Zashu doesn't have a dash, if he's not Guan Yu, if he's like an Odin or someone else who can't immediately get out of that tower, he would have died. You saw how strong it chunks early on, but tower not able to find or finish off that kill.
The last time we saw a flip under tower was Cyclone Spin. Omega actually claimed first blood by flipping an Odin under the tower. So
yeah, basically.
Good example you used right there. Zashu, on the other hand, look how powerful Guan Yu's heal is. Already, as if nothing happened.
Yeah, Zashu's going to be taking some poke here, just going to spam up a lot of potions. He should be fine, though.
Ooh,
he's not going to die from this. Actually, the boulder coming through, and it actually double taps! Zashu gets hit by the boulder, dashes forward, and because the boulder is slower than him, it hits him again at first blood. Very unfortunate for Zashu there.
Ow. That, as you said, unfortunate is the word. We use that word a lot on these broadcasts, usually as a euphemism, but that's actually just unfortunate, right? You just try to get away, use your dash in the same direction as the bowling ball, and, well...
I thought he was fine. I was like, oh, he's fine. He'll take one shot, he'll be golden, and then he dashes into the second tap from it.
That Hercules boulder does a lot of damage. Yeah. It's over 100% scaling, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
And then base damage, 300, all the way up to 800, and, yeah, 100% scaling. That's why
and he had a red... actually, no, LeMoGoW didn't. It was LeFaeles who had a red potion. Left side, though, we can actually see Thor getting ready for a gank. No wards on the map, and it looks like Myrmidons, they're just trying to bait. Like, look at this. They're backing up. They're not putting pressure. They're trying to bait, but we've seen EmilZy and Shaggy just sit really at this edge. They're not even leaving past that first pathway into the jungle. They're playing a very defensive game. They know that Myrmidons have a very aggressive dual lane, and with the threat of veils in the jungle, they can't push up too much.
And they're also by allowing Myrmidons to be aggressive, it's giving them sort of a sense of comfort. London Conspiracy understands just how much danger is on the table, and by playing that safe, as I said, Myrmidons able to really feel comfortable, which can be a bad thing.
Good amount of poke coming out, but Cherryo, he's going to get caught. EmilZy, his ult's coming through here. The question is, who's going to die first? Jump into the air. Thor takes as well. Who's going to fall? New wall takes to the sky. He's going to land in a lot of trouble, though.
Oh, boulder comes out. Cherryo gets a kill on the other side of things, and Aero tries to find a way to safety. LeMoGoW going to be forced underneath the tower, and Zashu going to be forced back to base. Fails, picks up the first kill for himself. Myrmidons up 2-1.
EmilZy has a very early beads one. I thought he was as good as dead there, but Dardez is going to pop those, and he actually finds the chain. Can he find two? Yes, it does. Third one not going to connect.
Panic taunt.
Power of fails a little bit out there.
Ares now finding himself here. So it's Ares and Thor in the mid lane versus Janus and Athena. Mid laner for Myrmidons did take a spill. So not quite here just yet, but coming up the lane. But that because of that distance, London Conspiracy will be able to claim the left-hand Harpies. Blue team gets lefts, rights, are still up. Looks like they're anybody's.
Small lead, like you said, coming out for Myrmidon, but it's virtually even.
Yeah,
first blood,
tie game for sure.
First blood went to LeMoGoW, but they haven't really been able to find a bigger lead since then. It just seems like London Conspiracy has been farming more effectively to keep the game even after that 500 gold burst early on.
Interesting, Kevin. We talked a lot about the early game in the duo lane and how much impact the duo lane was going to happen. Well, party in the mid lane, that's where everybody's looking. Nothing quite coming out. And, of course, you know, looking at a Freya and a Xbalanque, it should be expected to see those characters come on a little bit later. Here in the mid lane, a Thor, a Bellona, no surprise there that these are the characters turning up. And turning up, the first blood,
oh my.
LeMoGoW.
Zashu's just getting bullied at this point. Yeah. I mean, LeMoGoW is just actually just hitting a lot of auto attacks, and Zashu just while Zashu's trying to clear the wave. It's going to be really rough for Zashu if LeMoGoW elects to go into Mystical Mail, because he's 500 gold ahead. He's more than likely going to have that Mystical Mail online, and then it's just very hard to fight into a lane.
We don't even see LeMoGoW. He's not even stunning out the Tallow Assault. He doesn't need to do that. He's just farming the lane and providing damage pressure onto Zashu.
Yeah, but Cherryo, he's rotated over here. LeMoGoW, he has no defensive abilities yet, but he's actually going to get a nice stun. Cherryo just on the outside. Aero's ult comes through, connects. Yeah, Cherryo finds that nice gank.
A little bit too pushed up, and you take a look at Myrmidons, there is some vision on the right-hand side of the map, just not where LeMoGoW needed it. So because of that, London Conspiracy able to tie up the kill count with a good rotation coming out of mid and the jungle. And Aero, he's a Janus, doesn't lose many minions.
So this was a very slow response. I actually like them trying to go for the Gold Fury, but unfortunately I think it's a little bit too late. You can already see London Conspiracy. Not only do they have a ward on here, but it took Myrmidons like 15 seconds to decide to start this up here, and now we can see the fight coming through. Dardez got to find a chain on two different people. Aero's actually crippled out. He can't get through his own portal, and he's dead.
Beautiful display right there coming out from Myrmidons. Not only did the cripple prevent Janus from walking through the portal, but as soon as the cripple was on point, Myrmidons body blocked and made sure they were in the way of the portal. And because of that, Janus was unable to physically walk through. Gold Fury picked up a second time. It's in the yellow, 10%, very low. 500 damage needs to be done. Myrmidons do secure it with a beautiful boulder coming out from LeMoGoW.
Oh, the double tap. Fails, though, doesn't teleport there, and now it's going to be Zashu caught out. EmilZy's backing. The thing about that fight for me was that all of London Conspiracy had invested in the right side lane. All their ults were down for that fight. They had not a single ult available, and you could see it cost them that Gold Fury. And all credit to LeMoGoW, perfectly timing that boulder there, because the fight definitely broke up. I don't know what the call was for Myrmidons on sticking on Gold Fury or getting back, but you could see they kind of broke off from it. But the Gold Fury was kept in combat, and LeMoGoW perfectly timing that boulder to secure it.
So interesting, actually, because like you said, Myrmidons, we always talk about how textbook it is. For when the soul lane gets ganked, go pick up the Gold Fury. But a lot of the problem that we saw and identified was that Myrmidons just didn't go for it immediately. Or rather, London Conspiracy didn't go for the Gold Fury immediately. And because of that, they weren't punished. They were able to take the fight. Fight going on in the right-hand side as well. Athena ult will be used, but safety under the tower found by LeMoGoW. So Janus ult and Athena ult used for just a blue buff. But Hercules without a blue buff, Kevin, that's not a good look.
He'll be fine for the most part, though. He's picked up Teleport 1, although it's on cooldown for quite some time. I mean, right now, LeMoGoW is just winning in gold in this lane, and you can see he's not going to be pressured out too much by Zashu, who's half an item behind. Shaggyshenk forced to ult there as Jermain completely outboxing him. EmilZy rotating over, a little bit of a ward war there as Aero's going to throw some poke over the wall. Dardez trying to throw some poke over the wall as well with those chains.
Very interesting. If we get a chance, I want to break down the intricacies of what happened there with Jermain's Freya. Looks like EmilZy is going to leave this one alone. Double tap is going to chunk out Aero. Zashu's here, so that might be this might be a fight that Conspiracy wants to take. Zashu, as I said, all the way over here. It's going to force LeMoGoW to come over on the left side of the map as well. And as early as 9.5 minutes in, folks, we've got 5 people grouping up, ready to fight.
Yeah, LeMoGoW, like you said, these solo laners have been just rotating so much. And now actually a blinket by Dardez. Beats forced so early. Aero just trying to get out, but he's actually going to get pulled back in.
Here comes the horse trying to provide what he can, but LeMoGoW's boulder going all over everybody. Aero gets pulled a mile away, and that's why he's down for the count. Zashu is going to chunk down EmilZy, but EmilZy won't die. LeMoGoW's going to take out Zashu before the Tallow Assault can kill his support, and that's a double kill for the solo laner that's made the early rotation. And with that, 2 dead on the side of London Conspiracy, no dead for Myrmidons, and they are looking very strong pushing down this mid tower.
Yeah, and you can actually see LeMoGoW rotating under here. I don't see EmilZy getting out of this at all. His beats are down. Actually, they were up, but a nice dash from him, and LeMoGoW is going to miss that one. That's going to be a free tower coming out from London Conspiracy, and right now, I mean, Dardez is just making the big plays, hitting these important chains, and Aero just got caught without his ult there, and you can see how strong Ares is against Janus. The chains come out, and Aero is forced to beats just to get out of the cripple so he can escape, because the damage alone, it would have locked him down 100%, and then Dardez just simply ults. I mean, they were only beads 1. He knew that the cooldown was going to be, or the CC immunity wasn't going to last long enough, because by the time he ported over the wall and the beads ended, the ult would go through.
Myrmidons looking stronger than they have in a while against London Conspiracy here today. This is week 6, so we're just past the halfway point of the season. Myrmidons looking revitalized.
And this is, for me, this is all LeMoGoW and Dardez is doing. LeFaeles, he's been getting a lot of poke off onto players, hitting a lot of double taps, but I haven't really seen him make any big plays. Same with Tynz.
Yeah, there
same
hasn't
with
been
Jermain.
There hasn't been that big Thor dunk.
It's just LeMoGoW taking an early lead, making great rotations, and then Dardez hitting perfect chains and perfectly timing his ults to allow the rest of his team to clean up. Can we actually take a look at damage? I wouldn't be surprised to see Dardez sitting very high up there. Yeah, third right now.
Yeah, you can see, and there's the damage you were talking about coming out from LeFaeles. So he's by no
this
means
is bad.
a non-factor. Dardez going to miss the chain and get taunted in. So not as bad as it could have been for London Conspiracy. They sniffed that out. And the gank from Dardez not going to happen. EmilZy will make his way over to the mid lane. Gold Fury spawning in just about half a minute. Keep an eye on that one.
Game pace slowing down a little bit here as teams are getting ready, and Dardez continuing to just sit in the jungle on this left-hand side, trying to catch Shaggyshenk, moving up just a little bit. You can take a look. It's really important for Jermain to get his boots online as soon as he can, because we do see Xbalanque, Shaggyshenk, he's already got Transcendence and Boots 3 completed. He's actually ahead of Jermain, and Jermain has a Gold Fury.
Just superior farming. He's got 2 assists, I suppose, as the boots are finished by Freya, so it shouldn't be too big of a difference. Freya will be speedy, as always, with both of those movement speed items, Fatalis and boots online. And she's been doing a decent job, but again, Freya's not the god that we talk about early. The lane was what we were getting at, and Dardez has been a big part of this game early on, though it hasn't exactly been in that side lane.
Yeah, right now we're going to see the how strong Mystical Mail is when it's online. It's just like 40 damage ticked all the time. Second chain going to miss over here. Cherryo, though, just going to take a little bit of poke, going to disarm Dardez.
Because of those scary basics from Ares. He does have an attack chain,
He does have an attack chain. Ward battle going to be going to EmilZy and London Conspiracy there. They have control. And actually, you know, one thing, too, is less Myrmidons last time, they actually, a dash in. The chains missed, though. That could have been a kill, although EmilZy does have Beats 3 and his ult online. And right now, both teams, they're looking at the Gold Fury. It's very important to have control of the Gold Fury area and to have really good place wards. And you can actually see EmilZy placing a ward over there.
The second ward war will go to London Conspiracy. Helped out a little bit by Cherryo in the jungle. Don't forget, Cherryo is just a substitute, not taking the place of Sagi Sandal. Sagi just couldn't make it. However, on the other jungle, LeFaeles will be taking the perma jungle spot for Myrmidons.
Aero going to be pushed up here, and both teams right now, they're just positioning around. You can see Dardez actually caught out, and he's in a bad spot. I don't see him getting out of this one anytime soon. And now London Conspiracy, they have a small window, especially with new wall down, and Cherryo recognizes it as well. It looks like he wanted to be aggressive, but a great wall from LeFaeles going to keep him alive, and that's a lot down for Myrmidons, and this is what LC should be doing. They should be taking advantage of this timing and trying to do this, but LeFaeles, he's going to take to the sky.
Here comes LeMoGoW. LeFaeles is in the sky as well. Gold's Fury has been leashed. Smart move by London Conspiracy, but now it's an all-out brawl. On the backside is Shaggyshenk dealing damage. Zashu gets the final kill, assisted by the Hunter onto LeFaeles. Now Zashu's up on the horse looking for LeMoGoW. The stun will be missed. LeMoGoW walks away. Because of that, Hercules should be clean and clear. Different story for Jermain, though. Taunted into Aero's unstable vortex. Jermain falls. LeMoGoW hasn't left the scene, and he's going to fall as well. Double kill on the mid laner. Meanwhile, Nuwa, smart decision by Tynz.
It just must really suck to be Nuwa right now, because Nuwa, she doesn't have that free setup burst or that free damage that you see from other junglers, but Dardez is actually spawned by now. There's his blink. He's actually going to pull all 5. I don't think any of them have beads, and he actually plays in, and he's getting changed. Multiple players. Flames are coming out. Shaggy's going to fall. Zashu falls as well. Double kill for Dardez, but LC do secure the Gold Fury. I don't really know if that's worth, though.
I mean, taking a look at the graphs.
Look at it. Just like straight back down. And you gave Ares more kills. And he has free farm on the map right now.
I mean, he's carries.
6,000 damage, second on his team, coming out from Dardez. You could see he atomized very early into pin boots, and you could really see how strong those were in that fight.
It makes a lot of sense, honestly, for the pen boots to come out of Ares, because talking to Aurora this weekend at the Cognitive Invitational, and also Polar Bear Mike, Ares damage is his form of peel. There is no Ymir freeze. There's no Hercules flip. It's a damage source that's going to deter your opponent from aggressing onto you. By going the early penetration boost, you increase that damage, and by the nature of what we're talking about, you increase the peel, because we saw it earlier when...
Damage is a source of peel as well, right? Because you can't run into a backline or a fight if you're going to take half your life before you can even make it.
That's what we saw very early on with the first pull through the wall onto Janus. He had to beads because the damage was too damn high. So because of that, Ares understood, got the pull. And on the right-hand side, LeMoGoW's in a whole mess of trouble.
He has ult, and actually, nicely going to time that stun, and there comes Aero's ult. He is going to fall, though, but we do see a big rotation coming out from Myrmidons.
Dardez shows up, puts the flames, puts the chains, and there it is, puts the shame. LeFaeles gets the kill onto Zashu. There's 3 members of Myrmidons here, but only 2 from LC, and what quickly turned into a nice counter gank from Myrmidons. LeMoGoW will fall, but it's a 1-for-1 just now.
LC are being very aggressive here, but I don't know if they have the freest of damage. The Age is going to come out a little bit late from Tynz. He's going to drop, but he should be fine, and Dardez is going to chase off EmilZy.
Look at Dardez is hitting basics. I mean, really looking for every piece of damage that he can provide. Tynz is very low.
Run, Aero.
Yeah.
Run. Get away. New wall takes to the sky. This should be enough for Ares. Aero trying to get out. Fails, though, around the corner. Going to find him and lock him before he can get through that portal. LeMoGoW's back. EmilZy forced to beach. Cherryo getting chased out as well. 4 members of Myrmidons on the right-hand side of the jungle.
Cherryo still taking damage, partly from chains. LeMoGoW, well, he's back. He gets the kill. Taking a look at that situation. All said and done, 6 assists onto our Ares here.
You know, I mean, I've been talking about Myrmidons like they've been in control of this match, and I still feel they are. I feel like they have the momentum. But London Conspiracy right now, I mean, this is a dead-even game. Only 500 gold are separating these teams, and 1,400 experience.
And
I mean,
where does that come from? Because obviously all of the kills are coming out on the side of Myrmidons. Where is the gold coming from? If that Gold Fury was sort of taken care of by the double kill immediately after, where is London Conspiracy finding the extra gold?
It just seems like superior farming across the map as, you know, LeMoGoW going to get pressured here. Beads come out. Aero just barely missing that ult coming out. Great taunt actually going to stop Driving Strike in its place. LeMoGoW just trying to get damage off as Fails rotates in. Zashu's the one who secures that kill. Dardez recognizing that LC are 4 strong on the right-hand side.
Really important part of that fight, of that play right there is as soon as the gold fell, or not the Gold Fury, but the gold on Hercules, as soon as the CC immunity was gone, the taunt was mashed by EmilZy, and that's what allowed them to pick up that kill. The immediate timing of it, the wait, and the immediate jump on that. Very smart play coming out from the support for London Conspiracy.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, though, here that EmilZy just blinked into the mid lane. So this is the new patch, and Blink has been hit hard. Can we actually hover over? Actually, EmilZy going to taunt Tynz, and then Cherryo, he's going to get locked it down. Fails takes to the sky, though.
Damage coming out from the mid lane. Tynz will fall to Aero, and everybody's getting hit by the tower, but it doesn't seem to matter as London Conspiracy are the ones that are coming out here alive. Cherryo picks up 1. Jermain will answer. So that's 2 kills on the side of LC. 2 kills on the side of Myrmidons as Jermain takes to the sky and rains down bombs. More pulses are coming out. The taunt's good. Fails. Picks 1 up as well. That is another kill. One more time, this time on the Hunter. You've got 3 kills on Jermain and 2 on Thor.
EmilZy actually just taunted Thor, and he auto-attacked, and Cherryo was actually in the way. EmilZy trying to save his teammate there, but also, unfortunately, caused his own death.
Rough
3 players alive, trying to do this Fire Giant, but I don't think they can do this one. This is super risky. You can already see Zashu rotating in, and they're taking so much damage. Myrmidons recognize it too. They're going to back off, getting a little bit too risky. If they had 4 or 5 players, I could see them doing that, but with 3 players who were already low, little bit too risky.
Again, I love Freya, but one of the downsides to taking Freya as opposed to a traditional Hunter is the objective damage. Now, 20 minutes in, sure, a regular Hunter probably wouldn't shred that target, but the damage from Freya is much different than just a Hunter on an objective. So for that, in that situation, Myrmidons is not able to push the envelope. And they do not take the Fire Giant.
General reset around the map for now. Myrmidons able to take about a 2K gold lead there. And we're going to see if they start to be more aggressive, because early on, Myrmidons, they were the aggressors. They were the ones who had the momentum. But Lord Conspiracy, they're fighting back, but it seems like they're sticking around a little bit too long in each fight, and it always seems to be, before it was Dardez actually rotating in after LC got a little bit too aggressive and finding picks. Look at this. Look at this. They're waiting to gank the mid lane, and EmilZy actually walks behind them, spots them out, and is like, oh, hey, guys, what are you doing here?
You know, it seems to me, Kev, it seems to me, Adonis, that London Conspiracy is trying to force these things. They see that all the momentum is on the side of Myrmidons, and they see the relatively tied game, and say, look, we can fight these guys. We can force these engagements, and in doing so, as you said, they're overstaying their welcome.
Gold Fury, it's just respawned here. We can see LC trying to get ward control of it, and Myrmidons actually have 2 regular wards here in the mid lane. Aero, though, he's going to... It looks like they're looking for a pick over on the left-hand side. They're trying to lock down Jermain before Gold Fury starts, but Jermain, he's going to pop his beads, take to the sky, and get out of there.
Better safe than sorry, I suppose. But with that, Jermain will lose the ultimate, which is largely Freya's main source of escape. Banished a little lesser there. And as you said, the beads... going to be down for another 70 seconds as well. Dardez blinks into the Gold Fury attempt. He's looking more for the kills than the objective itself. Chains out on Shaggyshenk, stunned out on Shaggyshenk, turn around, fails, gets the kill onto the Hunter. Coming on the backside as the fight is largely on the other side of the map. Double tap will miss, stun is down. Aero going to be safe and clean and clear. But now all of a sudden, fails, surrounded by the enemy. Nowhere to go. There's 4 members here. A good beads, an Aegis, wait out the time, and fails, finds an escape.
Dardez also just backs deep into the jungle of London Conspiracy, and that's going to be just a 1-for-0. And that was kind of unfortunate because London Conspiracy, they definitely could have been fine in that fight, but it just seems they made a couple wrong decisions. First off, Dardez blinks in. I don't know if they expected the Fails ult to come immediately after, but they could have bursted him. Instead, all the players split in multiple directions. We actually saw Zashu and EmilZy try and zone out, and because of that, Shaggyshenk was actually left alone and gets caught out there by Fails, finding a nice ult in combination on him. And then
I love the escape. The escape was clutch. So the beads on Thor is used, and they are not rank 3. It looks like they're a rank 2. So you don't get the cooldown reduction, but it just saved him for a hot second in case there was damage coming off of result of crowd control.
Gold Fury.
After that, the Aegis used just long enough to stretch, and then the hammer throw to find a way out.
No one even close. Aero does have ult, though. Here it comes. It's going to come through, and it looks like Myrmidons were just trying to sneak it. Teleport coming through. LeMoGoW is going to be here as well. He actually, his mystical mail pulls the Gold Fury, and it looks like he wants to commit to it, but the rest of his team doesn't. LeMoGoW's just doing his own thing.
LeMoGoW just showed up, and he said, this guy's attacking me. Can we attack him back? Oh, it's a Gold Fury? I don't care. He attacked me first.
LC trying to put some poke out onto LeMoGoW, who just getting the positioning for now. EmilZy is going to charge up his 1, but I think he's going to look more for a blink initiate. It is up. Probably wants to save his dash for escaping here.
Waiting. This is all about the Gold Fury. 24 minutes in, excuse me. 10-16 read the kills, and just a hair of a lead on the side of
super deep.
They're going to start the fight right about now. In comes Dardez looking for a pull. CC immunities off the table for London Conspiracy, so no one pulled. Stun will be missed.
Fails in the back line. Nice stun. That's going to be a lockdown, but Fails. He's going to trade out. Shaggyshenk going to be taking that. So far, a 1-for-1. And here's Dardez. Blinks in. Actually catches the chain onto Shaggy as he's falling from that banish. Shaggy's going to get out now. There comes Aero.
Zashu will make it through the portal. Unfortunately for Myrmidons, one of the target that looked like was going to fall will not because of a great portal coming out from the mid laner Aero. Athena's here, but a great follow-up stun coming out from Guan. That'll separate the team for just a second. Shield wall, follow up by the taunt. Aero gets 1, Aero gets 2. That's a double kill on 1 ability. Unstable Vortex has 2 shots, 2 kills.
Dardez, he's going to wait around the corner here. He's the only one who can try and contest this Gold Fury. He has no ult, though. He's going to have to steal it with like a chain or something.
Dardez doesn't... That's...
Yeah, he's going to back. Okay, I was about to say, I was like, you're in Ares. You don't really have like... It's rough to try and steal with like chains or like flames.
Like you said earlier, Dardez went in early. He wasn't looking for the objective. He was looking for the kills because Ares, there is no belly flop intoxicate. There is no blink Ymir ultimate, right? Ares doesn't offer much, if anything at all, by way of objective secure onto his team, which since the Hog nerf, or, well, the removal of Hog, essentially, that has to be a thought process in your draft.
And, I mean, it is, but I think you're picking Ares, like you said, more for your fights. It's there. The idea is we need to fight this,
and
not
the Thor
steal.
for the objective secure, I feel here. And of course, you always have a Hercules boulder to throw at something, right? Ares is not going to be the god that you look to sort of steal the Gold Fury. It's going to be your jungler and your mid laner if you're Myrmidons right now. So that's why we saw the back off from Dardez, because Chains isn't going to do it.
It's kind of funny seeing these level dynamics coming out from both teams. Cherryo sitting at level 16 is actually 3 levels behind LeFaeles in the jungle. However, Aero is 3 levels ahead of Tynz in the mid. So Aero's been a part of a lot, sharing a lot of experience, while Cherryo hasn't really been able to soak up that mid wave as much. Whereas I believe LeFaeles has just kind of been I don't want to say stealing a lot of farm from Tynz, but Tynz not able to find as much.
Tynz is also, we haven't said his name at all. He's got 1 kill to his name and 11 assists, right? Really been hitting that ultimate a lot. But outside of that play,
you don't really talk about New Oz because they can't. It's very hard for them to do stuff by themselves. A lot of it is setting up with your team in small choke points on the map. That's where New Oz excels.
Even still, we saw one example of that just now when EmilZy ulted in and we got the stun real quick, and well, Aero still double killed them. But outside of that, haven't really seen too much out of Tynz. I think Myrmidons, right now they're down 2K. We need to see more out of this mid laner Tynz.
I mean, until he really starts getting damaged, it's going to be hard because he doesn't have a support that sets him up well. Geb works very well.
That's also very true.
Geb and Nuwa, or Sylvanas and Nuwa, gods that knock up or control multiple players, like an Athena, that allow you to set up basically the stun combo, the throw out their minions and then explode them for a lot of damage. They work very well, but Ares just looking for damage, and Nuwa, she's mostly based on positioning, and it's very hard to get into a position where your abilities are effective.
And to be fair,
with an Ares.
Exactly. To be fair, Nuwa also does come on a little bit later, and the 2 gods that are going to help Nuwa do Nuwa things are LeMoGoW and Jermain. So it makes sense that we haven't seen too much out of Tynz just about now, just yet. But as we get closer and closer to this 30-minute mark, that's who I'm going to be looking to. It's no longer going to be about LeFaeles getting these kills. It's going to be about EmilZy getting a triple taunt. And all of a sudden, the party is live. Damage coming out onto Dardez because he's trying to pull 5. Doesn't get many people. We'll follow Zashu as he pushes the front line and does damage on the backside. Shaggyshenk, meanwhile, on the front side of Blood Conspiracy, just able to make it out, but Jermain will punish Zashu for starting off that fight.
Yeah, Zashu was so deep there.
So deep.
Almost too deep. Aero trying to get away from LeFaeles here. Double tap gonna connect. LeMoGoW finds that kill with an auto attack. And now it's Myrmidons. They're up 4 to 3 in players, and they're trucking down the mid lane. EmilZy and Shaggy under half. Cherryo, he's gonna get caught out with a perfectly placed wall. Actually, can Jermain find the kill? It doesn't look like he can. They're gonna switch over onto EmilZy, who is locked in place, and that's gonna be 3 dead on the side of London Conspiracy. Zashu going way too... Not only did he go super deep, but he also brought EmilZy with him. I don't know what the call there was, but Zashu is diving a tier 2. And while he does manage to find a kill, he gets himself killed, takes the support away from the fight, and then there's 3 carries that are just left alone to defend themselves in the backline.
That was my problem. That was the problem for me personally. Zashu going really deep on a warrior out of the solo lane. That's something that we praise players for usually, but bringing the support along for the ride was problematic in that it just separated the team a little too much and it caused problems. This Fire Giant doesn't look as free as it once did. Myrmidons get the Fire Giant, but Cherryo gets the LeMoGoW, and now it looks like Zashu one more time is going to be in some trouble. Nuwa, a single tap, and some Jermain in there. That spells Zashu's life.
Yeah, we actually saw a lot of Conspiracy come very close. They came very close to stealing that. Unfortunately, not enough damage from that bludgeon to secure it. And Myrmidons
that
were
would have
able
been
to
just
find the
too
last
much
hit.
because Cherryo landed the disarm of a lifetime in that last fight. He disarmed the 3 people as he was stunned between a wall and a Thor wall, about to die from a basic, and winds up getting away. If he also cleared the Fire Giant with the bludgeon, well, I think Soggy Sandal's losing his job. So because it doesn't go down perfectly, Cherryo the sub winds up just just missing the fire giant.
Yeah, unfortunately for London Conspiracy, Zashu and Shaggy also fell trying to defend it, which is a little bit rough for them. Gold Fury going to be spawning here. Myrmidons likely to turn their attention, and London Conspiracy for now. The gold is still dead.
I was just about to say that. Adonis, it's still technically a tie game. There's a fire giant on 4 members of Myrmidons, but for all intents and purposes, gold is really my sort of metric to sort of consider where the lead is at. And Fire Giant's going to give a lead to Myrmidons, obviously, but as soon as that falls out, assuming everything stays the same, it's anybody's game.
And London Conspiracy, they've been farming effectively. They've been playing passively. Myrmidons have been trying to force fights. And when they do win fights, they don't win them very cleanly. You can see 15 to 22 in kills. 5 of them coming off of that last mid-push and then Fire Giant. And London Conspiracy, and basically when they finally win the fights, they're not able to steal any buffs. They're not able to really get Gold Furies. You know, you can see London Conspiracy has 2-1 in that regards. And all the meanwhile, London Conspiracy are farming. They're getting these mid-waves. They're getting the experience in the jungle. And Myrmidons are just sitting in the jungle trying to kill people.
And this is the swing right here. Fire Giant gets picked up, and sure, it was all even until the Gold Fury and the Tier 1 dual lane goes down, and now Myrmidons are ready to fight. Blink comes in. All I hear are chains, and all I see is damage. Down comes the LeMoGoW boulder. There's 4 members of London Conspiracy still
huge.
Sitting under the tower, and that was a good defensive measure because Zashu's here. You're not going to be able to... Sure, he's not a hell, but the heal from Guan Yu was enough to make the re-engage tough.
For me, it's the fact that London Conspiracy took 2 ultimates, Nuwa and the Hercules boulder, and they didn't expend any defensive actives. The only thing that's down right now is Tier 3 Blink on EmilZy, and there's 2 big ults down from Myrmidons.
Out comes the CC immunity from the ultimate and the beads from Zashu and Bellona, respectively. Zashu's going to stun somebody, and it's Dardez. He's smoked underneath the tower, but LeFaeles is turning it around, takes out Cherryo. Down comes the Athena. Oh, 1 for 1. It's a 4v4 here in the long lane, and quickly going to turn into a 4v3 as Tynz is annihilated. LeMoGoW's alive, and he's Hercules.
This is LC's fight.
Here, but this is LC's fight. The taunt comes out, Kevin. The boulder's gone. The ultimates are down. Zashu is going to put Jermain to the ground as well. London Conspiracy is coming out on top.
It's just about protecting Shaggyshenk at this point, but a great beat. Shaggyshenk locked in place, and LeFaeles gets a nice return kill. Aero taking a good amount of poke. We're going to Aegis nothing there. LeFaeles. He's trying to get out. He's going to stick around. Nice Aegis coming out for Aero. Is it going to be enough? No, it's not. And actually, a teleport for LeMoGoW. I don't think he has the damage to lock any of these players down, but I mean, that was London Conspiracy's free fight, clean and clear, and then LeFaeles makes huge plays to pick up 2 more.
If this is the opportunity for LeFaeles to say, I'm back, he's doing it. Even if they lose this game, that is the second time we've seen LeFaeles be the last man standing and still come out looking strong. This time LeFaeles dies. But if he had lasted 1 extra second, Adonis, LeMoGoW teleport in, anything could have happened.
And really,
credit to London Conspiracy for preventing that, because they remember the last time that LeFaeles got out.
Yeah, and you take a look at LeFaeles' build, it's so much damage. Typically, we see the boots and Yoans into a defensive item. Instead, he went straight into Transcendence. And this item you will see occasionally, but it's 5th or 6th. You never see it this early. He's got it fully stacked, and he's also got a Titan's Bane. You could just see him chunking through these players who aren't level 20 yet. Cherryo, EmilZy, and Aero just because he's squishy.
That 3rd item, Transcendence, on the Thor, we see this when Thor is incredibly ahead, which almost never happens in an SPL game.
He's 10-3 and 9.
10-3. I was just going to say that. His slash line is telling you just how ahead this player is, able to pick up that damage before the defensive measure comes out with that Spirit Robe. And then, of course, the Titan's Bane, which works out well because the power is coming from the items, the early Transcendence, and still, it's not minute 1, but that Warrior passive, that Thor passive is not
It's nothing to scoff at. It's 45 power, even late game. That's a significant amount. It's an item. The chains. The whoop was a little bit too long for Dardez there, just a little bit ill-timed. But now we're going to see LC trying to re-engage, trying to lock down Dardez. Actually, they just force his ult. EmilZy just takes it.
They do get a pull, but there's no follow-up. Bellona on the other side going to blink, or rather ultimate onto the right. Up in the air is Jermain trying to deal the damage. He'll find safety, but he's very low. He's 25%. Boulder will knock off the wall, and Cherryo will take down Dardez one more time. London Conspiracy for 2 fights in a row. They've got the front foot. Look at EmilZy as he gets the taunt and immediately stunned. That's the Tynz I want to see. Up in the air, he's going to deal some damage, but down comes Athena. And look,
Zashu, keep going, man.
They don't have enough HP. EmilZy will push this tier 2 tower down with the help of his teammates. London Conspiracy wins that fight.
This is going to be a free tier 2 tower. Fire Giant, they're going to turn their attention.
Yes,
they should actually be able to burst that. I mean, all of Myrmidons back. Not only did they all back, but London Conspiracy watched them back. They need to start it up. They don't even need to worry about that ward, but it seems like they will take it out. LeMoGoW has teleport, though. You can see him in the back line. Definitely going to be able to disrupt them.
He's getting pinged out. London Conspiracy knows he's here. But
Fails
all of London Conspiracy knows he's here. All 5 looking at the Hercules. Down comes Fails. It's not enough. Zashu gets the kill. Shaggy might fall if somebody can find him. The whoop is good, but the damage is just as good. Tynz gets credit for that one. So LeMoGoW's dead, and Shaggyshenk's dead. And that's it. They're trying to claim Zashu's life.
He has no mana. He's done. I mean, he might have enough to dash there. He's got 60 there. I think his ability is a little bit too much. Yeah, Tynz going to find that. Full credit to Tynz as well, able to take out Shaggyshenk in that fight. I don't think we really saw it on camera, but actually throws Shining Metal over the wall off of Freya's whoop.
Yep.
Sitting at the mid camps, perfectly times it, able to take out Shaggyshenk, who definitely had enough life. He was going to be able to actually lifesteal up off of the mid camps and come back into that fight.
And now Myrmidons is the team that's looking at Fire Giant. Look at that swing. One more time, Aero having to bees out of the damage that's being given to him by the 3, 4, and 13 Ares.
Yeah, I mean, Aero's died a lot. 5, 7, and 12, getting caught out multiple times. I don't know. He has this very aggressive positioning, which works, because you can actually take a look at the damage. He's outputting 32,000. He's getting a lot of it off, but he's also dying about halfway through these fights, when a lot of times we'll see Janus with a little bit less damage, but able to portal their team or themselves in and out. And Dardez is doing a great job of locking him down, forcing him to beads or ages with his chains every time he can.
And this is the classic European support, really just being very aggressive, understanding the fights, peel by way of damage. I mean, don't forget, Titan was the team in the World Championships that almost won because of solid Ares play out of Kanye life.
For me, looking at London Conspiracy at least, is that Shaggyshenk is getting dove against when he has 3 gods who are pretty tanky. He's got a Bellona, he's got a Guan, and he's got an Athena. And all 3 of them are trying to dive the enemy back line, and Shaggy's just kind of left to himself, and Aero's left to himself, and that's why you see a lot of high deaths on these players, in my opinion, is because no one's running Protect. If EmilZy is initiating, you need to either have Cherryo or Guan try and defend. Instead, it's all of them trying to dive the back line, and they're just like, yeah, have fun with Dardez.
Your front line is no longer your front line if they're on somebody else's back line. Now they're just the aggressors.
But that's the same with Jermain. Jermain's getting left alone a lot, although we do see LeFaeles and LeMoGoW kind of sitting in the, I don't want to say the front line, but kind of like in this mid-flex area where they go back and forth.
Well, LeFaeles has just been routinely coming in as the secondary initiator, and that's really where
Dardez goes in, LeFaeles lands.
Exactly, and that's where, not their games, but their fights. These last couple of ones have really gone the way of LC because LeFaeles hasn't been able to land on that big swamp. Even this last one, where LeMoGoW got surrounded by 5 bad guys and it looked horrible for Myrmidons, down came LeFaeles and the fight went the way of Myrmidons, right? That is the entire story for Myrmidons if they want to win these fights.
Aero going to snipe through the wall here, trying to get some damage off Dardez. He's going to try and pull 3. He pulls 2. And actually in the back line, Zashu trying to lock down Tynz. Tynz is ages, but he's getting dove by so many people.
LeFaeles comes down from the sky. Cherryo gets the first kill in this one, though. Jermain follows that right up and takes out the life of the sub-jungler. 3 members of London Conspiracy are going to try and run away, and EmilZy will help them out. Zashu and Shaggyshenk, they better turn and run along with Aero, because here comes the rest of Myrmidons down the lane.
Yeah, EmilZy, he's going to be trying to get out. Jermain takes to the sky. One more hit should finish off EmilZy. Nice jukes and a great dash. Once again, going to juke out LeMoGoW's pull, but I don't know if he can get away. Yes, the blink comes out. He stays out of combat long enough. Aero portals through 4 members. It should have been a couple more deaths, but LC able to disengage that very well.
And just so you guys know, that blink has been recently changed. That's 5 seconds out of combat now that you need to be in order for that,
was absurd.
to happen.
Those were absurd jukes coming out from EmilZy.
EmilZy juked for 5 full seconds. It's not 3 anymore. It's 5 seconds, which is an absurd amount of time. The blink comes out perfectly, and because of that, London Conspiracy, they don't lose too much. They lose Cherryo for Tynz.
I want to see someone from LC protect Shaggy. I guarantee you, if they, like, I'm serious. I mean, once again, Zashu's diving the backline, which is fine. We actually do see, but I feel like he's almost building a little bit too much damage because he does get blown up. You take a look, 8 deaths, the most in the game coming out for him. Only, it looks like his teammate Aero and I believe LeMoGoW also dying that much.
An item that we don't usually get to see a lot. I would like to take a look at Runic Shield on Zashu, actually. This is super strong and definitely an item you can take home to your own games. It's an aura of reduced magical power and reduced attack speed.
It's anti-Freya. It is actually anti-Freya.
Yeah, it might as well just have a picture of Freya's face with a line through it.
And that's who he's diving also every single fight, which is fine. As long as he can lock down Jermain in fights, it's a good look for LC. And EmilZy going to find a taunt.
Up the top comes back Zashu. Will pull no one, but more importantly, it gets the CC immunity
Protect
off
Shaggy,
the board.
please.
Aero gets Dardez down for the count, and now everybody's looking at LeMoGoW, which probably not the target you want to see. They were protecting Shaggy, but LeMoGoW makes sure that Shaggy's on the wrong side of the tracks this time around. Still not enough damage as Jermain's playing it safe. Jermain's going to chase Zashu off screen. Aero takes out LeMoGoW as we watch that go down. Fire Giant pumping damage into Zashu, but it's not enough. And here comes LeFaeles. Disarm onto Jermain. Super important. Pulse is down. He can't do much damage.
Jermain, perfect whoop, and Shaggyshenk, he's back in this fight here. LeFaeles going to get taunted. Huge crit coming out. 420 to finish off that kill. Jermain now getting chased down by 3 members of LC. But Tynz, he's still alive, and if they chase too far, he will be able to come back in. And I actually think Jermain might be trying to bait. No, he's just dying.
Taunt from EmilZy on Berserker's Barrage has won 3 separate fights. The second LeFaeles is putting out that spin to win. EmilZy saying no. Such a huge point that gets talked a lot about when it comes to jungle matchups. We always talk about Thanatos being the anti-Thor, or anybody else with a silence or a taunt being the anti-Thor. But here on the support, we're seeing it late game, and it's really hurting LeFaeles' damage.
I don't know, man. He's got 34,000. He's the highest on his team.
Well, but total damage,
and critical spots, yes. No,
exactly.
EmilZy is finding critical taunts, and Tynz going to get caught out here. Slowed, and Aero gets the snipe. LC, they don't have the kill lead. They're just one off, but they have the gold lead. They have the Fire Giant, and now they're training up mid lane, trying to finish off these towers.
Huge swing. 43 minutes into this one, folks. London Conspiracy, well, they trail by 1 kill, but that's not the story. They're leading by about 5,000 gold plus a Fire Giant, and they're pushing down mid lane. They're looking at the Phoenix, and they're about to go ahead and take this one home, or at least the Phoenix, rather. Shaggyshenk picks it up, and London Conspiracy will move to the left-hand side.
They're at least going to clear out Tier 1 tower. I don't know if they want to clear out Tier 2, because it looks like Myrmidons would potentially fight that based on their positioning. Tynz should be down for it, but he will spawn with his ult. So I don't think it's something LC wants to invest too much in, unless Myrmidons are going to elect to give it up. They're going to take the Tier 1 tower. I do want to know, are they going to try Tier 2, or are they just going to take the gold and spin their lead?
Well,
they all have like
Kevin, close your eyes real quick.
All right, they're going to
London Conspiracy is going to push Tier 2.
Okay.
No problem. Myrmidons unable to play defense here. They want to defend underneath the Phoenix. That way they have right where their minions spawn. They have more sort of idea of their surroundings. And of course, it's a tighter spot so that you can get some of those bounces from the Hercules balls. And again, another uncontested objective. First one was Fire Giant. This time around, 2 towers and a Gold Fury. Huge swing in that last 4 minutes for London Conspiracy. What was once a tie game, teams are separated by 10,000 gold and a Fire Giant. London Conspiracy has very quickly taken the wheels out from underneath this bus.
The 10,000 gold, though, not going to mean too much. I mean, London Conspiracy just backed 2 players with over 3,000 in hand, and they could only spend 1,000 of it, basically, outside of power pots, because all these players are on their last items there. 3K pot bought by Shaggyshenk. You can see his build, Transcendence, Rage, Deathbringer. Shaggyshenk is going to be swinging probably for 1,000 damage crits as his passive is almost
on
maxed
the gold
as well.
tree. On the gold tree, we saw an 1,114.
Yeah,
crit.
he's on Tynz. He will be swinging for 10,000, and we can actually see Jermain.
10,000.
Oh wow! Okay. So Jermain had a Mail of Renewal because he was getting dove so hard, but he actually sold it for Rod of Tahuti because he just feels like if they get to me, I'm dead even with that. With that online, and he does have lifesteal in his kit as well, picking up Bancroft. So a lot of this is going to come down to which of these hyper carries, Jermain or Shaggyshenk, can go off in this fight.
We'll be able to take a look at that in probably the next 90 seconds, if that long. London Conspiracy are making themselves known. They're here. Aero's pretending like he wants to just shoot up the middle and go for the kill.
Oh, he's going to look for a snipe.
I don't know if that's...
They put a sentry there so they wouldn't know where Aero was. Once the fight breaks out, he's going to wait for EmilZy to taunt or someone to stun players, and then he's just going to ult through trying to hit as many as he can.
It looks like he's setting up for a drop shit that we've seen so many times. Not this time.
As
you said, he's looking for the damage. Not quite going to find it, but he'll be able to join the fight. LeFaeles is in the sky looking for a target. He's going to fall down. LeMoGoW on the front side. Aero gets a kill onto LeMoGoW. So all of that pressure that Hercules was providing is gone.
Aero's damage is just absurd. Aero actually could fall here. Not going to be enough Tynz. Not enough magical power. And Jermain going to try and find the kill.
Taunt coming out from EmilZy. No real follow-up, but just for the moment. Here comes the rest of LC. Able to take out damage. Able to put people in base. Dardez down just before he makes the fountain. Jermain's lift. That might be enough. But Guan heal on the Zashu, just enough to keep Cherryo alive.
Oh my god!
Through the wall.
Absurd amounts of damage. Nice double tap, though, coming out from LeFaeles, able to lock down Aero. 4 members still alive. 2 are dead on the side of Myrmidons, and it looks like LC, they're going to heal up from Guan. They have fire minions in the mid. They have fire minions in the left, just to try and get this Phoenix. Just get the pressure in the lanes back and spin your goal lead. Or I guess... No, there's no point, right? Everyone's max build, but just put the pressure on the lanes. Fails, though, coming into the back line. Shaggyshenk, huge crits. Jermain's here as well. They're trying to lock down some players. Cherryo, though, takes out FaEles.
Very important. It looked very important that happened. It's enough to push London Conspiracy and make them question themselves just a little bit. I mean, you take a look at EmilZy's life bar, and it's just not that high. It's just not there. It's just not there. He's half HP. London Conspiracy, they get all 3 Phoenixes. It's very important. Zashu just teleported from the left side.
Yeah, he's going to just get that. I think he wanted to try and get that mid Phoenix, but it's not worth risking your life for, so he's going to back off. The Titan's not going to be respawning. I mean, it's actually better.
Titans.
So this is actually very important because having off Phoenix timers helps you a lot because if all 3 Phoenixes are respawning, if we actually see Myrmidons able to find a kill or find a win in a fight, they'll have all 3 respawn and able to get a lot of pressure back on to the lanes. But if they're off timers, it's very unlikely that we're going to see the Titan heal up repeatedly because they'll be able to sneak by and grab the off-timered one.
Huge defensive set coming out from Myrmidons there. I mean, 3 Phoenixes are down, and this is big.
This is just a battle of damage. Like, it's who has the most damage and who's going to kill who first. There's not much defensive play coming on. I mean, it's literally like 5 areas are facing each other. Our peel is damage. And look at that. Every single player, except for EmilZy, is above 20,000 damage.
That's actually... This might be the most damaging game that we've seen all season.
Maybe not for an individual player, but definitely for a team.
That's what I'm saying. For the entire team, this might be the most damaging.
It's 30 to 29 in kills.
And this is Europe. North America's going to be a snooze
Europe
fest today, I bet. That's just how it works out. London Conspiracy now making what could be the final push of game number 1. Coming down the middle lane, Fire Giant has just been taken for free as Myrmidons was forced to defend their base. Here comes the taunt from EmilZy, followed up by a flip and a push. Coming out from LeMoGoW, the damage from Hercules just not enough. There's the secondary initiate, but
Cherryo
the Aegis is
Jermain.
just as strong. Aegis a little bit too early, however, from the aggressor. He's going to Aegis before the damage from Zashu comes out. EmilZy now looking for more, but chains are on Zashu. EmilZy will ult Zashu to prevent some of the damage.
Cherryo's actually going to dive the Titan. It's actually so low from the fire minions. This may be the end, Cherryo, unless they can lock him down. Look at the rest of the team. They're focusing on that mid-Phoenix. That Titan's not healing, and there's a dropship available once Aero respawns.
Minions are dealing damage.
Zashu's just going to... This is game.
With Zashu,
There's no way they're stopping this.
They go in 1 by 1, which is normally one of the worst things you can do in Smite. But here, it wins the game. London Conspiracy takes game number 1 against the Myrmidons.
That was a very intense matchup. A lot of fighting, a lot of back and forth, a lot of just, we're diving your backline, and we're going to kill your backline before you could kill our backline.
Just keep it going. Yeah, fantastic. Let's look at First Blood right now. Let's take a look at First Blood and player of the game and get into game 2. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. We've got LeMoGoW right here. He started things off with a very impressive play, 1 by 1 against Zashu.
Yeah, he's actually going to stun him he's actually going to pluck him as he gets into his tower, stun him against the wall. And what I want you to see here is the double tap from the boulder. He hits him, and then Zashu dashes, and then the boulder hits him again. That's just like, oh man, mistimed that.
Very well played by both teams. Not a trophy for everybody statement. Everybody, honestly,
both players had
well.
new junglers coming in. LeFaeles is a starting member, but it's still someone that they haven't played an SPL game with.
Player of the game today will be not LeFaeles, but EmilZy. EmilZy came off the top and played fantastic in the support role. 1, 2, and 25.
He only died twice.
Yeah.
Really?
Support.
Really? I mean, like we said, right? It's just like a lot of players diving enemy back lines. We saw like 7, 8, 9 deaths on almost all the carries, and it really seemed like the supports were the ones who were able to stay alive in the fights.
Look at the chaos. It's very easy to take the helicopter view and say, oh, this is exactly what happened. I know what went down. Look at the chaos that EmilZy has to deal with when trying to organize and corral his team.
And he's the shot caller.
Fights. Exactly. There's so much going on here, and EmilZy able to just now it's nice and clean. All right, there's 2 people attacking my Guan, but before everything's going everywhere, and somehow you have to not only remain calm,
look at
but
these body
call
blocks.
out the individual shots.
These body blocks are actually super important because LeFaeles at this point had Transcendence online. He was chunking these players, and it's just a great control and awareness and presence in these team fights. EmilZy, clearly player of the game.
Watch the blink. Watch the blink. Watch the blink. Blink! Hey! And then there's the shield wall and the everything.
And actually, EmilZy, we saw the blink difference as well. Dardez actually picks up a very early blink 3 because he planned to be aggressive, whereas we saw blink 1 in the extra 600 gold invested elsewhere for EmilZy. At max cooldown, I believe rank 3 blink is now, or rank 1 blink is 150 seconds. That is a long time. When EmilZy blinks, that's like 2 or 3 potential fights that he doesn't have it up for. So when he used it, he knew he was trying to fully invest.
Right, and that's one of the bigger changes. Blink is going to be more of it's going to be more specific,
It's riskier.
Exactly. It's going to be more intentional now when you blink. And, well, you're going to have to make sure that you get into things carefully. So why don't we get into... You want to say it,
Where's
Kevin?
the red button?
You want to say it, Kevin?
I'm hitting...